We are at that time when a great transition takes place. If we have a good look at our solar system and how it works, for instance, the moon goes around the Earth in turn is rotating and orbiting the Sun. So it takes 365 days to go around the Sun. Now our Sun in turn is orbiting Sirius. Sirius being the brightest star in the sky and in the sector of Cancer, right near Gemini. It is in a binary with our star. And every 24,000 years we go around each other in a clockwise motion. Sirius and our Sun have been going away from each other for the last couple of thousand years, and now they've turned the corner, so they're heading towards one another. As we reach the outer limits of that orbit, that elliptical orbit with our Sun and Sirius, this is where the Iron Age is. The Golden Age is when they are close to each other, and then as they separate, they go through the Silver and the Bronze to the Iron Age. Well, that affects the consciousness of mankind, because we have 100% consciousness when the two stars are close to each other. The consciousness falls to 75%, 50% and 25%. We've not enjoyed full consciousness for a long time, and many of the gifts and abilities and powers that we once had. As we have turned the corner in the great orbit of our two suns, Sirius and our Sun, as we have turned the corner and they are hurtling towards each other now, we have turned the corner from the Dark Ages. We've come out of the dark period because the suns have been pulled apart and their influence is weakened, and therefore our consciousness has dropped, and we're in the Dark Ages. Now they're pulling towards each other, bringing us to a higher consciousness, and that's nature. Nature brings us, ascends, helps us, and carries us through the ascension process. So it's all loving. Even though there's chaos and there's fear and anguish and chaotic events occurring around us in our world, even though that is happening, that's really just the remnants of the Dark Ages. So we've turned the corner. The two suns are hurtling towards each other at great speeds now, and that's the beautiful part of where we are. We've turned the corner, so we're really in just a great time in history to be living. It's just an amazing time. The great changes that we will see with our own eyes will just be stupendous.
We are actually just simply locked into a series of cycles, and it's the duty of every human being, when they're ready, to discover their own awareness, to take control of themselves.
What is getting ready to happen is a positive thing. It's a step forward in an evolution. It's an awakening in consciousness. We have to go along with the change that's happening, as opposed to fear it and resist it.
What is happening at this moment is discussed in all the Bibles and mythologies of the world. The ancient ones knew the cycles. The Hindus call these cycles the Yuga cycle of 24,000 years, in which we go through the gold, silver, bronze and iron age, just like we go through the yearly summer, winter, and the daily night and day. So we do this in the 24,000 year backward processional cycle. And we are at what the prophecies say is the time of the harvest, the time of the end of this wave of evolution of mankind, where certain ones ascend, awaken, remember who they are and reclaim their divinity.
And we are now passing through a period in which an acceleration of consciousness is taking place.
Everybody's benefiting from these finer conscious levels that we are arriving at, simply by means of where the sun is taking us.
The Earth itself is a conscious living entity. We're getting ready to evolve at a very fast rate. The reason this happens is because the center of the galaxy puts out pulses. If everyone starts to find out that this, what 2012 really is about, then that's going to accelerate the process even more. They're going to start catching on to the truth of what's happening.
So if human nature starts to change, that means everything moves off the peg of expectation of normal.
The new paradigm, right?
New
It's
paradigm.
a new paradigm.
That's right. If you heard the term the shift, it has to do with the 2012. That's actually an astronomy measurement. It's called the precession of the equinoxes, and the indigenous called it, the Mayan calendar called it, and it has to do with moving into another cycle of the planet. It represents a 26,000-year wobble. So if you talk to indigenous people, they're all about cycles. Everything's cycles, cycles, cycles. And this is one of the major cycles. We weren't really supposed to get here. If you know, I mean, I grew up with Revelation and World War III and the whole thing. That's all been transmuted. We're beyond that now, and we are in this new cycle, and that cycle represents the shift. That cycle is an enhanced, evolved consciousness for mankind.
Now we've been in that sign, the sun has been in it at the equinox for 2,000 years. Now it's right at the end of Pisces, and the new sign coming through is Aquarius, and the sun will be in Aquarius for 2,000 years.